But to finish the hour, this is a bit curious. A council worker has been sacked after protesting about the use of his pronouns on his email signature. He didn't want to.
Well, James Orwin changed his email footer to XY chromosome guy and adult human male rather than he, him. Well, he
said the only way to challenge the company policy was to adopt deliberately provocative pronouns.
Well, joining us now is human rights activist Miranda Yardley. Miranda, it seems that this individual was clearly sort of trying to launch a protest in his own way against the use of mandatory pronouns in email signatures. Should he really have lost his job?
Well, having just read through the 63-page judgment of the Employment Tribunal, which was fun, I have to say, very interesting. There's a lot more to this than you would think at first blush. One issue, I think, which is worth mentioning is that the claimant represented himself, which is never a good idea. There's an adage about lawyers that a lawyer who represents himself has a fool for a client. And these types of procedures are very much process thick, and understandings of the law can be very different to how you would perceive it. The second thing that I would bring up as well, that this is a decision only in the first tier tribunal, and if this went to appeal, as happened in the Forstater case, it could lead to a precedent that would be binding, which I think would be a interesting outcome. Now, turning to the facts of what's happening within the case, by the tribunal decision, the really good bits to look at are paragraphs 298 to 301, which set out the reasons for, or the reasoning behind the wrongful dismissal decision for gross misconduct. It would appear that the claimant had done what he'd done and put this message within his bio, within his pronoun space of his bio, and he was asked to remove it, and he's refused to remove it. And it was on that the tribunal decided that he had not acted in accordance with reasonable instructions of his employer, which was to remove what he put within the signature, and so he repudiated his contract of employment by those actions. Now, all of that said, I'd like to say that I do not agree with public associations or local authorities, for example, publicly owned bodies, nor I would say with corporations imposing a belief system on people whereby they would have to put their pronouns in their bio or their email signature. So I think that this particular case is quite misunderstood. And if we look at the facts of the case, I think that there is an interesting and worthwhile discussion to be had here.
It's quite amazing how quickly this has become the norm, though, in businesses, in local authorities, public bodies, that you're all invited to put your pronouns. I mean, this is very new. This is very new, yet it's somehow everywhere now. And I can imagine a lot of employees find it extremely irritating and feel a pressure to do it, even if it's not specifically mandatory.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the pronouns in bio thing was not mandatory, and I think we can only analyse this case, the ramifications of it, if we look at the facts. And I would say to anybody that is interested in learning more about this and understanding what is actually going on, to read the judgment. But it's like you say, this has happened very, very quickly. I don't think that this type of action does anything for people who consider themselves to be somewhat, how would I put it, gender variant. And I think it is a form of coercive behaviour that is undemocratic and attacks people's free speech. And like you say, it's all happened very quickly. I mean, ironically, we're talking about a social meme just after talking about a virus attack which knocked out the world for a year or so, a few years ago. I mean, ideas have got no boundaries. Bad ideas have no boundaries, and the correct response, I think, to bad ideas is to replace them with better ideas.
Well, thank you very much indeed for your time. Miranda Yardley, human rights activist. Good to get your perspective on all this. It would annoy me if I was told to put my pronouns in my bio. Say, you know I'm a woman. Just stop. Anyway.
No, I don't think... I don't think either of us have pronouns in our bios. Well, next hour we're going to be much back at